There was a point in my career where I would log in to my computer and look at my calendar, and I hated it. I loathed looking at my calendar because the first thing I knew is that I was walking into some escalation, some complaint of a task that was missed. Someone let something fall through the cracks. The strangest part was I didn't even build the calendar. Like the calendar, someone built itself, and it was based around client preferences and their expectations. And when the team was available, almost like the calendar was managing me. I was not managing the calendar. I had silently agreed to everything on it unconsciously without actually questioning it. Most leaders really never stop to ask the question, is my calendar aligned with the actions that will help me move the business forward or not? Or am I just showing up to where everybody is asking me to be? Because if your calendar isn't aligned with your priorities, then your business starts to move in the wrong direction or direction that you didn't even know where it was headed in. There was a particular moment that forced me to look at my calendar a new way. I was literally dreaming about work because my client was sending me stuff at 2 a.m. while I was supposed to be sleeping. And I got to the point where I had to ask my team to stop forwarding me the escalations because I don't want that to be the first part of my day. Most leaders and founders that I talk to, they can tell you like what their goals are, where they want the business or the team. But when I ask them these two questions, this is where they often get stuck. Question 1, what are the 3 to 5 priorities that matter the most over the next 90 days? Question 2, what on your calendar actually supports these priorities? Those two questions reveal where most of the overwhelm is happening for a lot of leaders, because what they're going to discover is that their calendar either runs them or none of the work is actually even captured on the calendar. If your priorities are not on your calendar, they're not priorities, they're ideas. Let me tell you the framework that actually fixes this. This is called the priority architecture. It's a 3-part system that helps you align your priorities, your calendar, and your decisions. Step 1 is to define 3 to 5 priorities that you need to hit in order to move your revenue forward for the next 90 days. These are not goals. These are not standards. These are not tasks. The key to this is you have to define why these priorities matter. If you can't come up with a deep reason why these priorities matter, then they're not actual priorities. They're great ideas. It doesn't mean that they're not important. It just means that they're not important for you to act on right now, which is okay because that gives you data that maybe what you thought was important isn't as important as you think it is. It should align with your business goals. It should also align with your business principles and with the standards that your business operates under, because business priorities that don't operate under these things collapse under pressure. Once your decisions are clear, then you're going to run them through what I call the yes and no filter. This is where you'll audit your calendar and you'll see if the things that you have on your calendar over the next 7 days match your priorities that you've listed. You might see that you're working on things that need to be delegated, automated, or not worked on in general. Or you may just see that some priorities are misplaced. We remove at least one thing within 24 hours and we replace it with something else that is more aligned with your priorities. So when we remove the thing, we're either going to delegate it, automate it, or we're going to push it back and we're going to swap it out with something that is more in alignment with the priorities that you have listed out. It's one thing to complete a calendar. Maybe you've done the task list, you've done the sticky notes, and it's time to show up and execute, and then you struggle with doing it. You have to hold yourself accountable to the things that are on your calendar. What tends to cause that is when something is misaligned or your why isn't as strong enough. And so if you find yourself looking at your calendar and you're often working on things that are outside of what's happening on your calendar, usually it's because the why is misaligned. It's either not a priority right now, or it's just misplaced alignment. Either you don't need to be working on it, maybe somebody on your team should be working on it instead. When leaders implement the priority architecture, what ends up happening is your decision fatigue drops everybody has clear ownership of what they should be doing. You're working on things that are clearly going to move the business forward and increase revenue. And the leader stops carrying everything that they're not meant to be carrying. It helps you shift responsibilities, and it helps give you a clear view of what you're actually spending your time on. And it helps you really get a clear understanding of what your priorities are and what the focus is, what's important versus what's not important right now versus what can hold off, and what can be delegated, automated, or what can be nixed altogether. It's the same team, the same business, but you're just producing a very different result. Overwhelm is rarely from capacity issues. It is usually coming from lack of structure. If anything in this video sounded familiar, it's because the structure needs to change. And so I want to invite you to download The Root Cause, my white paper. The link is inside of the description. It's not a quick freebie. It's something that you can actually sit with and that you can look at and see how the structure actually changes. Authority doesn't bloom from doing more. It blooms from doing what matters the most.